Welcome back to another class on Evean Halacha series. We are in Siman Aleph and Halacha Yud in the Pitchit Tishu and Ot Yudala. This will be part 11H. The Pitchit Tishu begins Ube'inyan hitchayevut sheyesh laha'isha al ha'bal. The obligation that a woman has on her husband. Vegam, and also be'ashlashat get piturim, giving the get to a third party. Because we have to be concerned. Maybe the woman's going to come back one day. Yasu kimoshe pasak Adoni Avi Mori Rebbe Binodabi Hudakama Evan hazaerSiman Gimel and the Kamasiv Katan Tet Zain Ein Sham. He says you should go ahead and do like my master, my father, my teacher. When that and he made a pasak halacha and the Nodabi Yehuda. Look later on, he says he's going to answer these two concerns. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin with a new case. The Khatam Sofer was presented with a case where a guy had a wife, Lo Oleinu Rabotai, who was again mentally ill, but this time this husband, he went with her to another country to get the best doctors that are going to be able to heal her. And then he came back to his country. Sometime later he found out that his wife died. The question we want to see, can this guy get remarried based off that testimony? Begins the Pitchit Teshuvah. Ubeteshuvat Khatam Sofer, in the response of the Khatam Sofer, in Evan Ha'ezer Chelik Aleph, Siman Bet, this is the case. Be'ish echad nishtatata ishto ze kama shanim. By one man, he had a deranged wife for many years. And he took her to another place, to the place where there are doctors. And now, Omer, the guy says, somebody informed him that his wife died. And also he brought one witness. He brought another witness that heard from somebody else that this guy's wife died in that city where the husband initially took her in order for her to get healed. Is the husband allowed to go ahead and get married to another woman? This is the question that was posed to the Khatam Sofer. And he lengthened over there, B'divrei Habash, in the words of the Beis Shmuel, the Siman Tetvav and Siman Kuvnun Chet, Hanich Dela'el, which is written above, De'ein ed echad ne'eman chulu, that one witness is not believed, etc. We saw this previously. V'da'atol lahachmir kehabash. The Khatam Sofer wanted to be stringent like the Bash and not allow this guy to get remarried because we don't believe one witness when it comes to itchazik di isura. V'katav, and he wrote, va'afilu im nachnis atzmenu b'piritzat dechuka lakel mishum igun debal. Even if you want to go ahead and you want to push yourself or force yourself to be lenient because you don't want to leave the husband now a widow. Chas v'shalom, not a widow. No, not a widow. That's a bad explanation. I'll put it to you like this. I don't know how to even say this word in English. Do you guys know what's an aguna? You have a woman who's a girusha, which is a divorcee. Then you have a woman who is a almana, which is a widow. Then you have a woman who's an aguna. Aguna, she's not divorced and she's not widowed. She is still considered to be 100% married, and she could never get remarried. She's stuck for the rest of her life. If a rabbi is not going to be able to find her way, like Chacham Avadi used to do, she's not going to be able to write like a big response to why she's able to get remarried. She's an aguna. Aguna means she is stuck for the rest of her life. So comes over here the Khatam Sofer and he writes like this. V'katav, and he wrote, Va'afilu im nachnis atzmenu b'piritza. This is the Pitchit Teshuvah, by the way, saying it. The Pitchit Teshuvah is saying like this. This is what the Khatam Sofer wrote. Va'afilu im nachnis atzmenu. Even if we're going to go ahead and we're going to push ourselves, b'piritza dichuka, with a big breach, Meaning, we're going to force lakel mishum igud debal. We're going to try to force to be lenient because we don't want the husband never ever to get remarried. That's what it literally means, igud debal. It's as if he's married, now he cannot get remarried. He says, I'll tell you when you could say this. Ha'enu isha bri'a ne'evda. That's specifically if he had a normal wife where she would get lost. Just like we are lenient when we're dealing with a woman who's an aguna. Meaning if his wife was an aguna, if we would try to find her leniency, we would find her leniency. But that's only in normal cases where the husband is normal and the wife is normal. Rabotai, one more time. Even if you want to go ahead and push yourself to be lenient because you don't want to leave the husband, you don't want to make the husband be single for the rest of his life, that would have been good. I would have been able to take into consideration that the husband should never be alone for the rest of his life. That's only if his wife was normal when she left or when we find out that she died. Just like we're lenient by a woman who's an aguna. By a woman who's an aguna, will be lenient and will allow her to get remarried if we have conclusive proof that the husband is no longer around. So to over here, since we have an ed, we would have been lenient had the wife been normal. But over here we're dealing with a case with what woman? A woman who's deranged. But over here, we're dealing with a deranged woman. You're able to find him a way to get married through 100 rabbis. Get and giving the get to a third party. And also giving the ketubah to a third party. Now you don't have over here the whole concept of igun. Rabotai, do you guys understand what I'm saying over here? Let me try to say it outside. I just want to make sure that this concept of igun is clear. I'll put it to you like this. Let me give you a nice case. Let me give you a case. I don't know how many of you guys knew the base Arum. Rabbi Wolkin Shlita, the father of Moshe, Harav HaGaon, Rav Moshe Wolkin Shlita, the father, he had a grandfather by the name of Rav Aharon Wolkin Zatzal. He was called the base Aharon. A lot of psak, halachot that Chacham Ovadia did for agunot, he took a lot from him. One of the situations that they bring down, like the Gemara also brings down this case, that Rabbi Wolkin told me his father used to go to bars. Now, not to sit and relax and chill, chas v'shalom, no. He would go to a bar and he would just sit. It's called Mesich Lifituma. He would sit innocently and he would listen to the conversations of other people. Because you have to remember, back then when it was war, a lot of young men would die. All these men that died, they went out to war without giving their wives a divorce prior to this. So it caused a lot of balagan. It caused maybe these men are dead now, or maybe they're alive. If they're dead, she could get remarried, but we don't know that. If he's alive, she can't get remarried, but we don't know that. We don't know the situation. So therefore, she's going to be an aguna. She's going to be stuck for the rest of her life. So what did the Beis Aharon, what did he used to do? He used to go to the bar and he used to sit. And then he would listen to the conversation that the Goyim had or other Jews had. And they would say, did you hear Reuven? The way he was shot with that RPGM, whatever they call his head exploded. I felt so bad for him. I threw up. That's all the rabbi did. He would ask him a few questions to give him a detail of who this guy is. He was able to describe that this was exactly the same guy that this woman lost. Even though there's no witnesses, nothing, it's only mere words. We would believe it. Why? Because we did not want to keep her in aguna. We did not want her to be by herself for the rest of her life. That's why, Rabotai, they would go out and they would find anything, even if one witness would come. We will use anything to be able to remarry a woman only because we do not want her to be alone for the rest of her life. We don't want her to be an aguna. Like we don't want her to be imprisoned in a cage, not being able to get remarried. So comes the Khatam Sofer and he says like this, listen, I would have been also able to use this logic of Igun Debal, that the husband also shouldn't become an aguna. An agun. Where? had his wife been normal, and somebody now comes and says that his wife Lolenu died, we can trust that case. But in our case, we're dealing with a deranged woman. Since there's other ways you can allow her to still get remarried through 100 rabbis, giving the get, giving the ketub like B'shur the Bayit Chadash. If you are able to do all that, so you see clearly he's not stuck. He can't go free. That's what the Khatam Sofer says, and he concludes like this. He says, okay, first he brings another point. He says that furthermore, ha'isha b'mokom yudua. Plus, in this case, the woman, we know where she is. And she's not on the other side of the ocean. And she's not in the desert. And you're able to go ahead and find out if she's really dead or not. So why just take his word that somebody told him that his wife died? Al-Ken, so he's giving you two reasons, which I should have read it also, but Al-Ken, therefore, Eini rotze lihiyot mehamitirim einsham. He says, I do not want to be from the ones that are going to allow him to get remarried without the 100 rabbis and so on and so forth. Look over there. So, okay, let's do this one more time outside. The Khatam Sofer was asked the question. Reuven had a wife by the name of Sarah. She was deranged for a few years. He took her to another city, another country, so that the doctors can help her fix the problem. Sometime later, when he comes home, he finds out, he gets a message that his wife died. He comes to the Khatam Sofer and he brings one witness that also says that he heard that his wife had died in that place where the husband sent her. Will we allow this guy to get remarried? Comes the Khatam Sofer and he tells you, the answer is going to be no. He doesn't want to be from those rabbis that allow. He's going to tell you no. But what was the, what was the reasoning behind the Khatam Sofer? Because it says like this. It says, number one, he's not really an Igun Debal. He's not really stuck, because through 100 rabbis and through the get and through the ketubah giving to Bedin, he can go free. So really he's not stuck. That's number one. Number two, when can we use this case of Igun Debal when the husband is stuck? That's specifically if the wife is healthy. But Rabotai, in our case you have another problem. This woman is not far away. He knows where he took her. He knows to which hospital he placed her in. Let him go and find out if she's alive or not. Because he said that she's not over the seas, she's not in the desert. You are able to go ahead and find out the situation. So that's he concluded he does not want to be lenient. So the bottom line is going to be, according to the Khatam Sofer, that if a husband had a wife Lolenu who was deranged and he took her to another place, to another hospital, as long as we don't have conclusive proof that she died and somebody said, and he brought another witness that he heard somebody said that she died, we're going to tell you he's not allowed to get remarried. But wait 1 minute, but he's going to be stuck for the rest of his life. He's not going to be stuck for the rest of his life. You can't compare him to a woman who's an aguna. By a woman who's an aguna, will use anything to allow her to get remarried, because there's no other way for her to get remarried. By him, there are other ways that he can get remarried. 100 rabbis, the get, the ketubah, and give it to the bed, and then go get remarried. So we see he's not stuck. And plus, this husband is able to go ahead and clarify if his wife is dead or not. So there the Khatam Sofer says, he does not want to be from the ones that allow this guy to get remarried. Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen ve'amen.